It's time to lead in love. I don't think anybody would argue with that, right? Oh, goodness gracious. So I'm still Reverend Suzanne Grace Public. And as I mentioned, our monthly theme this month in the Centers for Spiritual Living is moving from good to great to grand. And my talk title today is The Inner Landscape. Because I believe the path to our most authentic expressions starts with our exploration of our inner landscape. So what is that? What is your inner landscape? I kind of like to think about it as, where are you coming from? Where are you coming from? Let's consider where we are coming from and what we are here to represent in truth. The great Reverend Michael Beckwith says, each of us has emerged and is coming from the source of all creation, the love intelligence that governs all life. We are coming from the infinite presence, full to overflowing, loaded and coated with beauty, joy, peace, power, and all that God is, as a unique emanation of that God itself. What if we were coming from that place? So what's your inner landscape? And how does it manifest in your outer world? My motto for many, many years has been, and it's printed in many places, is inner evolution, outer transformation. I just finished teaching an 8-week course called Building a Healing Consciousness. And we worked on our inner landscape a lot. And everyone had profound changes. Moved up that scale of evolutionary consciousness. So as we take stock of where we are in our own process, what values we aspire to, we can begin to live those values in a new way. We can come from that empowered place within, the inner. So today we're going to explore how observation, curiosity, and discovery are the starting points in moving from good to great to grand. Imagine that. Imagine that. And don't forget your gold nuggets. You can always write down a little phrase that I might happen to say that you can share. So the affirmation today, one of them is, through my inner landscape, I uncover my grand self today. Repeat after me. Through my inner landscape, I uncover my grand self today. Through my inner landscape, I uncover my grand self today. And maybe that's scary for you. By actively observing our own inner landscape, we gain greater insight and awareness into our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that just may be a little outdated. I don't know about you. I know none of you have outdated thoughts. So curiosity will then fuel our desire to ask different questions, which will then lead us to discover and uncover new aspects of ourselves, our strengths and our values and our passions. So our founder, Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind said, the road to self-discovery often calls for the clearing away of the underbrush of ignorance, fear, superstition, and a sense of isolation, which has made us feel that we were unworthy, unheld, and lost. In the divine providence of good, salvation is unnecessary, but self-discovery is essential. We do not save that which was lost. We merely discover that which needs to be found. Ernest Holmes. Hear that. We do not save that which was lost. You are not lost. We are rediscovering that which needs to be unearthed, found again, that truth of our being. So the process of that realization or self-actualization is that uncovering of what's already there within you, our sacred center, our divine spark. Ah, that's the grand self. I just thought of that. So as we begin to pay attention to our own inner landscape, what things might rise to the surface for you? Disappointment, fear, shame, guilt, not enoughness. Sometimes when we go deep in, those things will be there. And that is exactly what we can heal, right? So I have a story for you today about a Jewish rabbi. And he gave this analogy decades ago to show how we each have the power to change ourselves and the world. The rabbi asked his students to get one of those scales of justice, you know, with the 2 dishes or bowls. You've seen those before. And he instructed them to place the scale on a table and put an equal amount of sesame seeds in each bowl. Sesame seeds. Then the rabbi explained to his students that we are at a very precarious time in the history of creation. Well, this was spoken a few hundred years ago, but where there is a great battle going on between good and evil. Then he asked if the seeds on one side of the scale could represent the pain, the darkness, the suffering, the unhappiness propagated by the lack of humanity in the world. And the more seeds that are put on that side of the scale, the more the scale will tip to an age of destruction. On the other side, imagine the seeds representing joy, light, happiness, the kindness, the acts of selflessness, the love, the good. And the more seeds we put on the other side of the scale, the more we contribute to the dawning of the age of heaven on earth. Can you visualize this? Okay. So in other words, he explained, every time you do something that hurts another being, every time you spew anger or tell lies or take credit for someone's idea, it puts a seed on the side of the scale that will bring about an age of darkness. And every time you do an act of kindness, of love, of generosity, it puts a seed on the other side that will bring forth heaven on earth, a place of peace, a side to end all wars. Then the rabbi said, if there were an equal amount, exactly equal amount, on each side, how many acts, how many sesame seeds would it take to tip those scales one way or another? One.
Just one.
Just one. And then he said, too often we believe who we are and what we do is insignificant in the scheme of things. That our gestures of kindness and acts of love or the peace we create through our spiritual practices won't make a difference or won't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Yet according to the rabbi and the Kabbalist, just one action means the difference between the destruction of our world and a world filled with light. One seed. And how do you know that one act of kindness that you just did wasn't the tipping point that brought about the dawning of a new world? A world of peace, a world of love, a world without war. You get this?
Yes.
Yeah. Take a breath. Because we are practicing love. We're practicing peace. So let's look at how observing, being curious, and discovering our inner landscape can shape our future and the future of the world, because we can notice what seeds we're planting. So number one is observe. Observation is a simple but transformative practice on your path. By observing ourselves, just being a witness, you've heard that term, without judgment, without guilt, we can begin to cultivate and develop a deeper understanding of our thoughts, emotions, and patterns of behavior. We do what I call in my coaching, notice what you're noticing. Just notice it. Don't judge it, just notice it. Oh, I'm really pissed off today. I know it's not a sacred word, but, or whatever, we just notice, right? And through observation, we become attuned to the intricacies of our own inner landscape, and we can unveil those hidden beliefs and feelings that may be shaping our lives in ways we don't want it to. So this heightened awareness makes us enabled to make conscious choices, right? That's something we definitely learn in this philosophy, is our choice, and align our actions with our authentic self. I make conscious choices that support my well-being. Say that with me. I make conscious choices that support my well-being. Again, I make conscious choices that support my well-being. Ernest Holmes also said, there's an inner life into which we may plunge, an inner consciousness in which we may bathe. As water purifies itself by flowing, so our inner realization of the flow of life through us purifies those stagnant pools. Oh, you got any stagnant pools in you? Woo! Yeah. So the second idea is being curious. I talk about curiosity a lot, because it is a catalyst for growth and expansion. And as we pay close attention to our inner landscape, it's a spark that ignites our quest for a greater understanding of ourselves. You know, where am I coming from? That's a really good question. Where's this coming from? So, I don't know if you've ever heard of the quality of questions. And we would be hard-pressed to find a mental tool more practical to improve the results of our lives than improving the questions we ask ourselves. Did you know that there are specific regions in your brain that are controlled by the questions you ask? Questions trigger a mental reflex known as instinctive elaboration. It's kind of an interesting term, but has anybody ever heard of that? I hadn't either. I don't know where I found this, but it's instinctive elaboration. So when your brain is posed a question, it instantly kicks into gear to find an answer for it, whether you're conscious of that or not. So your brain is driven to find the answers to questions. And the quality of your question determines the quality of what? Your results. Think about it. Have you ever said, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why do I keep doing this? Why won't anybody help me? Why is there so much destruction? Can you feel the weight of that? Those questions only lead us to feeling like a victim, more and more. And your brain, bless it, will keep feeding data back to you to affirm why me and keep you in that loop of hopelessness. Take a breath. But the moment you ask a different question, a miracle occurs. You open the door to a possibility of a new experience, a new understanding, a new insight, even a new solution. What if you asked, what is it that I could do to improve this situation? What can I do to improve my well-being? What is this situation trying to teach me now? How can I claim my victory? How can I be in this situation in a healthier way? Can you feel the expansiveness of those questions and the difference? It's so simple. Taking the time to be curious. Wow, this really isn't working for me. I bet there's a different way to go. I don't know, I talk to myself like that all the time. And I tell you, it absolutely changed my life. So the next time you feel stuck or you feel like you're moving into an old, familiar pattern, anybody? Find the empowering question for you. And I also always encourage people to write it out and write your answers. Writing is also another way to use a different part of your brain. Because as we nurture our curiosity, we're open and receptive and available to everything. Reverend Maggie spoke a few weeks ago about the book, What's in the Way is the Way, by Mary O'Malley. And Mary O'Malley has a great quote. True alchemy is about transforming unconsciousness into consciousness. Curiosity is where the magic happens. So be curious about your life. Be curious about what's showing up. Just be curious. Wow, what is this all about? What am I learning here? Do I really need that? I remember one of my teachers used to always say, just do that. Everybody go to your chin. Just, be curious. It's a fun thing to do. I welcome an open and curious mind. Let's say that together. I welcome an open and curious mind. Again, I welcome an open and curious mind. And then lastly, from that, we discover. So through the process of self-discovery, we delve into the innermost parts of ourselves and we reveal those underlying beliefs and desires. And we open to our true nature. As we align our actions and choices with our authentic self, we are led to a sense of purpose and fulfillment in our life. And we're easily able to shed those limiting beliefs and patterns. And it might seem scary at times, because we might not know exactly how to rise up to the surface. But if we're willing, are you willing? Yes. To step out of the mystery of it all through self-discovery, we can create a deeper connection with ourselves, our inner landscape, the universe, and the world around us. Anybody want that? Yes. Yeah. So we're going to go on a scavenger hunt for the close of my talk today. No, we're not going to walk around. But remember scavenger hunts? They were so fun as kids. Oh my gosh, I remember them. We're going to go on an inner scavenger hunt. A search for ways that you are a light in this world. A journey to the center of your spirit, your heart, your soul. So I invite you to close your eyes, if it's comfortable, or just lower your gaze and take a deep breath in and a big exhale. Become present. You know how to do that. And I invite you to clear the screen of your mind. Just clear the screen. Take a little eraser and just shh. And I want you to go back in your awareness for this inner scavenger hunt. And you're going to go back to answer these 5 questions for yourself, just in your own mind. Just bring it up and see what shows up in the front screen of your mind. Number 1, think about a time recently when you did an anonymous kindness for a stranger. Number 2, when and to whom did you say thank you to today? Bring it to mind. When and to whom did you say thank you to today? Number 3, when was the last time you picked up a piece of trash or tidied a public place without being asked to? Just bring it to mind. If you did. When was the last time you picked up a piece of trash or tidied a public place without being asked to? Number 4, recall the recent experience of forgiveness, either for yourself or another. And number 5, when was the last time you smiled and felt happy or in awe of something you witnessed or saw? Recall that now. When was the last time you smiled or felt happy or in awe of something you witnessed? Take a breath and open your eyes. Inner scavenger hunt. How'd you do? And if you couldn't find any examples, that's okay. I encourage you to think about practicing these 5 this week to develop your inner landscape with some extra light. Be kind. Say thank you. Pick up. Forgive. And smile. Because those are seeds on the scale. And the scales will tip to heaven on earth that you're helping to create. Be kind. Say thank you. Pick up. Forgive. And smile. Are you willing? So I invite us to make a point this week to spend a few minutes each day in meditation, reflection, or contemplation, and allow yourself to create space for that exploration of your own inner landscape. And explore how observing and witnessing, being curious, and discovering are starting points in your movement from good to great to grand. Yeah, let's take that into prayer. How good it is to remember the truth of our being, to open to that grateful, thankful place within us that is always connected to that divine source, the Holy One, the Creator, the Spirit, God, Infinite One, whatever name. We open and connect to that powerful presence right now. Because we are each like a drop in the ocean, and a drop of the ocean, a wave in the ocean, is never separate from the qualities of the ocean. So we have all those qualities. So we claim that right now, that kindness, that compassion, that gratitude, that willingness to be the seed that makes a difference. And so I bless each of us on our journey this week, knowing that we are stepping into, rising above the old and embracing the new idea of this thing called life. And so I bless each of you this week, knowing that our path is open and that you are receptive to this greater good. How good it is to hold this community as family, knowing we are all on a path together in different places, and that is good. We support each other, we love each other, we care for each other, and we continue to do that. And so we hold the high watch this week for ourselves. We pay attention. We drop into our inner landscape and tap into the God power that we have, moment by moment, as we need it. And it is with joy in my heart that I know the truth has been spoken, and I simply let go, let God, and join me in affirming, and so it is. Amen.